And she might be joining us today, but she's visiting with family. Her stepfather is celebrating his 90th birthday. So that's neat. Yeah,
90.
yeah.
Gee, that's old.
That's
Hi,
a
Don and
luxury
Nancy.
not many get to have.
That is true.
This is it. We're live now, Rev Kev.
Yep, yep. And let's sing.
Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. You are beautiful just the way you are. Step into the love. You're illuminated by the glory of God's love. Step into the truth. From within your abundance overflows. How love can change one life. One life can change the world. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So move with me, step with me, step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So move with me, step with me, step into the light.
Step into the love. Okay, see, that's why I had my microphone off. Please forgive me. I love to sing. That doesn't mean I sing perfectly. I'm no sunny day. But welcome to the Downey Center for Spiritual Living. I live in Huntington Beach. That's what I love about Zoom, that we can be together, even though we're still at our homes in different areas of the United States and the world. Thank you very much for joining us today and stepping into your light. That we are a center of light, of love, of possibility, of joy, and we are filled with overflow that you're here with us today of joy. I want to start with our mission and our purpose statement and ask you to join with us and see how it resonates with you this morning. And just read it, take a second and read it, and then unmute your mics and let's read it all together. And we're just going to do one sentence in English and one in Spanish. Taking a deep breath, please say it with me. By
Valuing and empowering all,
we
we
inspire
inspire a joyous and fulfilling life. Avalar y potenciar todo, esperamos una vida plena y alegre.
By valuing and empowering all. This is what Downey Center for Spiritual Life Living is. And we are living that through the love that we have for God, for ourselves, and each other. And it is my pleasure to tell you about someone that I love, Mr. Gary Takasian. He is the practitioner that is on pulpit today. And he is one of the most generous, sweetest people that I have met as a practitioner. Every talk, no matter how I show up, I ask him to pray me in or to say a prayer before service. And his answer is always, of course, yes. Please enjoy and help me welcome Gary Takasian.
Good morning. And as we start this morning, I'd like us to just keep in mind, excuse me, that our theme for the month is going further together. And this morning, Judy will be talking about the theme of the day, which is dig deep. And so at this time, what I would invite us to do is to take a deep breath together, to breathe in that spirit that surrounds, that spirit that gives life to all things. And for just a few moments, let's just focus on our breathing. And as we do, let us allow ourselves to dig deep into that place within, into that quiet place where we set aside all those busy thoughts of the day, all those concerns and things that we have that we need to do today, or what happened yesterday, or what we're anticipating tomorrow. For really, all we have is right now, the ever eternal now. And in that place, all those concerns can be set aside. And we allow ourselves into that depth, into that place of spirit, into that place within where it is quiet, where it is peaceful, and where we commune with the divine. And so this morning, let us just allow ourselves just a few minutes of time to be in that quiet place, to sense the presence of spirit within each and every one of us. And as we continue with those wonderful deep breaths, I just invite us now to turn our attention also within as we invoke the presence this morning. And I know that we are surrounded by this power and presence, by this one mind that brings all of creation to be, through and as each and every one of us. For I know each of us are blessed with that divine presence, with that knowledge, wisdom, and peace that is from the divine. It is through and as each of us, and it is our birthright to know that those are the blessings that are bestowed upon us. And as we embrace that this morning, as we dig deep into our Science of Mind teaching, I just know that it meets each and every one of us exactly where we are. We hear what we need to hear this morning, and we allow ourselves to make it our own, so that our individual lives are enriched and deepened in this teaching. And so right now I give thanks for knowing that, for having this opportunity to be in that presence of spirit. And so as I do, I acknowledge that, I acknowledge the wondrous of this morning, and I simply allow it to be by saying, and so it is, and now it is. Amen.
Now, beautifully done, Gary. Let's show Gary some love. Yeah. Thank you so much. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Reverend Kevin. I'm going to share a few announcements with you this morning. So just a reminder, after service today, we will be visioning for our beloved Downey Center for Spiritual Living. And that'll happen right after fellowship time, sometime around 11:45. And as usual, we have time with our practitioners during that fellowship time, which we call Minute Miracles. And we use the breakout feature on Zoom to pair you up with a practitioner, and in a very powerful few minutes, they will know the spiritual truth for you. And as always, if you're interested in serving our community in new and interesting and really helpful ways, we are always open to your call to serve, to be of sacred service to our community. And for those that are already, answering that call to serve, and there are many of you, thank you for doing that, and share the joy of that experience with them, with others. And I'd like to thank all of those folks more formally who bring this service to you. And I notice my slide is incorrect, so I'll correct it as I go. But to our practitioner of the day, Gary Takasian, to our beloved Reverend Judy today for her message and for her leadership in our service, to our live stream moderators, to our leadership council, who have been doing double and triple duty these past few months and moving our beloved community forward, to our music team and our music director, Sunny Day, and to all of you for joining us here today. And returning to our spiritual practices, so far we've affirmed our mission and vision, we have meditated, we have been led in beautiful affirmative prayer, and we now have the opportunity to give as a spiritual practice. So the logistics first, you can send your gift to our new address, which is 3350 East 7th Street, number 529. That is in Long Beach, California, 90804. You may use your bill pay service. You may use the donate link. It's now being officially referred to as a donut link. Anyway, the donut link in the chat and in your email and on the website. And that link will take you to our Square service where you may use your credit card or debit card. And we've added Zelle. And so you can Zelle to our phone number, which is 562-928-6460. And I'm assuming we've got some part of that working. We're still working out the bugs on it. So if that's not working for you, please try one of the other methods. But eventually we'll have that Zelle fully working for those that want to use that to donate. Now, this rises to the level of spiritual practice by way of the consciousness with which you give. And that consciousness, you know, because it's what you feel as you give. So part of this is just becoming aware of those feelings and therefore those emotions flowing when you are giving in any particular way, whether it's, sharing your talents or whether it's sharing your treasures. Notice the feelings that come up. Now, the positive feelings that come up for me as I give as a spiritual practice is one of feeling a plenitude, feeling generous or generosity, feeling abundant, feeling prosperous, feeling like I am growing in that flow, that connection, that circulation of goodness, of godness. So I invite you just to take a moment to notice what positive feelings come up for you as you give, and hold your hands over your heart if you so choose. Unmute your mics and we will say our statement of giving together. And we'll say this simultaneously in Spanish and English. I'm going to say it in English today. So here we go. Abundance flows in my life. I am blessed with prosperity. I give with generosity. Yes. I tithe on faith, belief, and with a consciousness of love. My gift is a divine circulation through me that now benefits and grows our spiritual community and beyond. And now it is. Thank you so much. So I invite you just to feel what comes to heart and mind, mute your mics, and sing along to our next song.
I'm walking in the Spirit, walking in the Spirit, walking in the Spirit of one God, loving in the Spirit, loving in the Spirit, loving in the Spirit of one God, moving in the Spirit, oh, moving in the Spirit, in the Spirit, oh, the Spirit, oh, God, growing in the Spirit, every day I'm growing in the Spirit, growing in the Spirit, the Spirit, oh, Spirit, oh, knowing in the Spirit, knowing in the Spirit, knowing in the Spirit, the Spirit of one God, singing in the Spirit, I lift my voice and sing, yeah, in the Spirit, oh,
What a beautiful way to start the day, to spend time with friends, to acknowledge one another as the lights of God, to acknowledge the presence of God expressing as each one of us, to surrendering to meditation, to surrendering to our spiritual practices, and to know that we are breathing in the spirit, knowing in the spirit, living in the spirit, loving in the spirit of one God. What a beautiful day. I'm happy already, but I'm always happy when I see each and every one of you. I'm going to share my screen now, if at all possible. Okay, Kevin, I now don't have the ability to share my screen. There it is. Thank you. So I'm hoping that each one of you can see that our theme for 2021 has been timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. And each month we've been building on that and growing through that. For October, it's going further together. And today it's taking a deep dive, digging deep. And I'm loving that because with Gary, he had us breathe deep. And breathing deep is slowing down and just enjoying and being in the moment. So with that, each breath, we dig deeper, expressing more fully. And I want to start with this slide right here, which says, we shall know each other in God. We shall know God and each other. As our thought of God reaches to embrace the universe, our arms will be around each other. And that's Ernest Holmes from The Essential Ernest. So I like that slide because I do believe that we are the arms of God, the face of God, the love of God. I know that as a baby, that when we're born, the doctors work with us to clear the pathways so that we can breathe. And the doctor works with us until we exhale and we announce we're here, that the airflow and the flow of God is circulating in our body. And I know that's the beginning of our life in physical form. And that first receiving the love of God, and then expressing our love for God, that it is a divine reciprocal universe, and that what we give, we get back in generous proportions. And then to life's end, the last act of love and appreciation of life that we do for ourselves is to exhale that breath and return from where we originated, that we came from formless to formless, that God is the breath that we breathe, the life that we live, and the animation of our life story. Breath of God gives our bodies life. And God can only do for us what God can do through us. And by the way, I might refer to God as he at times, and that's just old language popping through, but what is the proper pronoun for God? I decided all in, all as all the time. Reverend Sunshine says, how much is in all? All of it, everywhere in each and one of us. One life, but many individuals. And there is no life outside of that one life. Ernest Holmes would say there is one life, and that life is God's life, and that life is my life now. And I'm knowing that as we breathe that in, as we participate with that, that we know that the breath of God that we breathe is the life we live. And I'm sharing my screen once again to share with you that the community that you belong to is all of life, not just Downey for Centers for Spiritual Living, but all. The turbulence cannot be controlled. Today we had a 3.9 earthquake in Midway, or a city up in Los Angeles. You can't control that. Life is going to happen. But how we respond to life, when we quit struggling with life, when you stop struggling and accept it as a part of life, it all feels different. Would you agree? So I'm knowing that even though I can't control outside circumstances, what I can control is how I feel about it. And each one of us is going through something. I'm still very fresh in the loss of my son. Sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes I feel like if I don't reach out to somebody and love somebody, I'm going to burst. So I'm up and down with things. But some people feel sad and they keep it to themselves because they don't want to impose or bother us. Or they think they're going through so much already, I'll just go through this on my own. And then there's some of us that are so happy sometimes, but they don't want to be happy in the face of sadness of the people that they love. So we're always trying, not always, sometimes I notice that I, myself, and others will navigate how we show up depending on environment. And what I'm asking is to dig deeper, to go ahead and dig deeper, regardless of what looks like life looks like out there, to show up in your authentic self. That we are all of this, all of the time. We're happy, we're sad, we're giggly, we're silent, we're say really things that connect with others, and then we say things like, where's she coming from? We're all over the place, right? But let your light shine in the mood that it's in. It's mood lighting at its best. Show up the way you are, be authentic. Observe what's happening and learn from it to gain the wisdom and to reveal the authentic love of God of who you are. Because in all of it, this too shall pass. And I know it's easy to say and sometimes hard to do, but I want to share with you that all of it is good and all of it is God. And well, did you guys see my screen? I'm trying to be a flawless little presenter, but I'm having trouble today. So I'm just going to stop sharing. I'll pull it up and read it. In Science of Mind, it says, there is one mental law in the universe, and we use it. It becomes our law because we have individualized it. It is impossible to plumb the depths of the individual mind because the individual mind is not really not individual. It's individualized. So what I know from this, God cannot be separate from anyone. We can have an individual use of our experience with God, but God is expressing flawlessly in everyone, in everything, everywhere, all the time. God is in the poor, God is in the rich, God is in the illness, God is in the health, God is in the sad, and God is in the happy. And God is evil and is even seen in the perceived evil and in the perceived good. God is all in all. And I'm not saying that you're responsible for everything that's happening in your life, because there's things like earthquakes that come up, and there's weather, and there's collective consciousness that we move through. But if you dig deep, you can manage how you move through it all. When you dig deep and you're more loyal to who you are on the inside than what you think you need to do on the outside. When you put God first, the best of God comes forth in and through you. God is always saying yes. And what you focus on, ask for, and do is your individualized experience with the God of your understanding. God speaks, you listen in meditation. in the spiritual practices. God speaks, you listen. And if that's true, then you must know that when you speak, God's listening, for there's only one life here. Digging deep is listening to the voice of God, listening to the inner expression of life that is seeking to live itself in you as you. And it is the authentic you, the spiritual you, the truth of you, where all your needs are met. If God gives it for you to have, to experience, God has given it to you with everything you need to fulfill it. So what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to God? What are you making it mean? How does it make you feel? And then watch how you show up. And are your actions in alignment to the still small voice within? Or are you adjusting yourself to the temporary experience of life on the outside? Digging deep, in my ever so humble opinion, is what I'm having to go through right now. Digging deep is knowing that the God within me, that the Spirit of God within me is loving me through my experience, through my losses, through my loss of my son, that God is lifting me even in troubled waters. Now, I'm really hoping that I'm going to try sharing my screen again, because I'm really hoping that this was, oh, good, it came up. This is what I'd like for you to look at. Can you see that picture now? So in the chat, if you're familiar with the chat, I'd like you to put in there what you see in that picture. There are no wrong answers. And the more that we interact with each other, just like the body needs every organ, cell, and function in the body to live and communicate collectively to have a healthy body, the more that we interact and share with each other, the healthier the body of Downey Center for Spiritual Living is. So anybody tell me what you see in this picture. And I'm going to go to chat. Ah, Reverend Cav. You're my advanced learner. How many see a frog? You don't have to do anything, just know. Can you see a frog? And if you can see a frog, can you defocus your eyes and go ahead and look at the horse? Anybody see that wonderful possibility of the duality happening there? There's a frog in that picture and there's a horse. And I have to tell you that just like the frog, can you see my cursor, my mouse? Here's the frog with its little feet and its back leg. Now here's the horse's mane, and that frog now becomes the horse's face. Can you see it? When you see it, you can believe it. Yeah. So I'm letting you know that right now that there are a million things happening in this world, and we're only going to see what we focus on. And where your attention goes, there goes your focus, your vocabulary, and your actions. So at any given time, if you shift the way you look at things, the things you look at shift. They change. You have the power to choose. I have reinvented myself at least, well, let's see, how old am I? None of your business. Hold on, please let me calculate. Okay, I've reinvented myself quite a bit throughout my life. And I'm knowing that I will continue to introduce myself as the new 2.0, 3.0 version of who I am, and continue to live my life as I grow and evolve. And I want you to know that if what you're looking at does not make you feel good, then what's the opposite of that? And start looking at, if this doesn't make me feel good, what would make me feel better? And keep choosing until it becomes a natural choice to feel better. Do you know what you're looking for? Digging deep allows you to look at what is it that I want to be, do, have, experience in life? Who do I want to be? Dig deeper, breathe deeper, be still. Be in the stillness until the spirit within you encourages you by the augmented vision you hold in your mind to take action. Behind, in, and through all thoughts is the power to manifest with the source of all creation, God. God can only do to you, for you, what it can do through you. So what do you want? Visioning is a powerful thing that needs to be developed. Nobody was born and learned how to walk without practice. Nobody learned how to eat by themselves without practice. Nobody learned to speak without practice. Visioning for your future, for those without a vision perish. Visioning for your future, knowing what it looks like, feels like, smells like, tastes like. When you incorporate and encourage that and develop that within you, then you create a purpose and a pulling forward in your life. Instead of being pushed by pain, you're now being pulled by vision. And I know some people go, come on, Judy, what does my future taste like? Yeah, does it taste like success? Does it smell like home? Does it look familiar because you've seen it in your mind and you've had a vision of it? Can you recognize the feeling it gives you of the exhilaration of life? And I know it's hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, there wouldn't be so many people following the Kardashians or following the news or being involved in things that take them out of what they could be doing into what they are now neutralized and hypnotized by. But when you learn to utilize the power of your own imagination and invest in yourself, you listen to your heart song. For we are in the universe, there's one song. When you sing that heart song, you're in harmony with the soul's message. And how beautiful is it to find something in life that allows you to sing and connect with your body and get the movement and get energy in and through your life through pleasure. There will always be pain, I guarantee you, because the bigger the light, the bigger the shadow. The bigger the desire, the bigger the what ifs. You know, there's always going to be balance in life. However, the gravity of what doesn't feel good will hold you down. When the pleasure of what feels good will lift you up. And no, life will always keep you buoyant and balanced. But choosing is your birthright. I want to share with you a story about an event I did at Tony Robbins. And as some of you know, I used to work for Tony Robbins and I traveled. We were in Hawaii, I believe, at an event for 9 days called Life Mastery. One of the nights, one of the evenings, Tony was having us separate masculine energy on one side, feminine energy on the other. It wasn't about what your sexual orientation or how you showed up, male or female. It was about what do you identify, masculine or feminine. And everybody got on either side of the room, and then he played the music. And he played, I have to bring it up because I don't really know the words by heart, but he played a song by the Righteous Brothers called You Lost That Loving Feeling. And the men, or the masculine, sang to the feminine. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. And there's no tenderness like before in your fingertips. You're trying hard not to show it, but baby, baby, I know it. You've lost that loving feeling. So the men sang that to the women. And then the women sang this, or the feminine sang this to the masculine in response to their song. As the midnight moon was drifting through the lazy sway of the trees, I saw the look in your eyes, looking into mine, seeing what you wanted to see. Darling, don't say a word, because I've already heard what your body's saying to mine. I'm tired of fast moves. I want a slow groove on my mind. I want a man with a slow hand. I want a lover with an easy touch. And I just felt the energy going back and forth. Oh my God, it was like a big love fest. Everybody was like, oh, can you feel it? This is what I want in a relationship. Love expressed and shared and generated. And then all of a sudden, Papa Tony, which is what I call him, Papa Tony shifted and said, okay, women, what do you believe about men? Men, what do you believe about women? And all of a sudden, the energy shifted. The men said, I think women are gold diggers. I think they're looking for men that can provide, that'll take care of them and their kids, provide a nice home, provide. And women go, well, I think men are pigs. I think men only want one thing. And I think men this. And the energy shifted and just went plummeted down. And Tony was amazed because we were communicating back and forth. He was shocked at how all that love and fun fell into the gravity of this is what I think about men and this is what I think about women. And Tony watched it all play out, and he didn't try and correct it. He didn't try and fix it. He didn't try and explain it away. He just let you feel what you felt and said, okay, good night, everybody. We'll see you at 9 o'clock in the morning. And everybody left kicking rocks. It's like, well, God, that was fun, Tony. Thanks a lot, And as the energy came back the next day at 9 o'clock, it was like everybody was carrying a big cloud over them. It was a big, shady, gloomy kind of feel. And Tony's, well, how'd you guys sleep? How you feeling? How you feeling today? Now that you got to tell the other person what you thought and how the grass grows and when you're going to cut it, what are you going to do with this now? And it started one by one, people raising their hands. I'm sorry I said that about men. I have a wonderful husband and I have 2 good kids that are sons. They're amazing. I have no idea why I did that. It was awful. I'm sorry. And then the men is like, you know what? I love my wife. I love my daughters. I love my mom, my sisters. Women are powerful women and they can provide beauty in the world. And they started recapturing the truth. And Tony gave them the opportunity to look at how they showed up and how they shifted and what they chose to say when given the opportunity, when you're going to level the playing field and you're not thinking. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Digging deep allows you to take a breath before you speak. Digging deep is a breath of God. What do I want to add to this? Do I want to be the light in the darkness? Do I want to be able to, when given the opportunity to speak, do I want to talk about love and connection? I'm not saying that you don't use your voice to speak up when necessary, but if every time you get cut off on the freeway, you go, "Arr!" there might be a little something there you can work on. Would you agree? Everybody there? I see some bobbing heads. So I'm just knowing that as I saw this experience unfold and I was watching all of this, you could feel the energy in each opportunity. You could feel the happiness when they were singing. You've lost that love and feeling. You've lost that tender touch. I want it back. The men were pleading to the women, I want it back. And the women were pleading to the men, I want to love her with a slow hand. I want to love her with an easy touch. Somebody that'll understand, not just come and go in a heated rush. You can't ask what you want in yourself and others without doing a deep dig and learning what it is that who you are and what makes you happy. Who are you? What do you want? What are you making it mean? How does it make you feel? And know that every time we invite you to dig deep, we always give you spiritual tools that you can use to get this done. I'm going to take a class in how to share a screen. The spiritual practices are meditation, treatment. Treatment is Science and Mind's word for prayer. And prayer is not so God gives you what you want. Prayer is so that you get in alignment with what you're asking for. God's not beat bopping around in heaven going, love to hear people pray. Wait a minute, is that a Science of Mind prayer? I'm going to really give it to them because they know the 5 steps. God always says yes. The clearer we can get on communicating what it is we want and why we want it, the more likely and the quicker it will manifest in our life, because our words, our thoughts, our feelings, our meaning and action are in alignment together. God always says yes. We study, we read, we take classes. We commit and follow through in each and every class. We journal to get to understand what we're thinking and what we're making it mean, to get a document. A life worth living is a life worth recording. It's a learning experience of loving God deeper, and you can't love God deeper without loving yourself more. The only God you'll ever love is the God of your understanding. So who gets the benefit of that love? You do. Vision what it is that you want, what you would like to experience, who you believe yourself to be. Augment it until you don't have to explain who you are. People know when they see you. The beautiful soul, the Spirit of God expressing in and through you. And then there's sacred service, spiritual counseling, giving us as a spiritual practice, and being a part of a beloved community. All of this is available to you every day if you but ask. When you wake up in the morning, this is what I'd like to experience out of the day. I would like to have a deeper connection with God, with love. I would like to have a beautiful connection with God. I want to have a beautiful connection with others, because you can't connect with God without connecting with yourself and others. And the affirmation, God is, I am, you are, we are one. There is but one of us here. So I would like to invite you to just take a deep breath in. Breathe in the beauty and the power and the presence of God itself. Know that the breath you breathe is the very breath of God, the life that is animating and expressing in and through you, that you are the wonderful receiver of the good that is God. And as you breathe that in and that breath permeates and circulates in and through your body, know that as you express the gratitude for the life you've been given, for the love that you've been experienced, for the power of choice, for the power of knowing love as a spiritual practice, that as you realize that, you express that and give that in and through everything you say, everything you do, everyone you experience. God is love. Love is God. It is everywhere in everything. And how good it is to know this truth. I thank God that there is not anything that I have to do, that everything is for me to know, for to have the wisdom that God is expressing in and through my wishes, my desires, my words, my actions. Thank you, God. Yes, more, please. And with a breath of kindness and love for the spoken word, I simply release this prayer into the universe, into the love and the power and the void, the vastness, the darkness, that out of darkness comes the light, that I release my prayer into that beauty, knowing it comes back to me, that it is already so, and so it is. Thank you very much for this time with you today. Thank you, Rev Kev.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Let's show Reverend Judy some love.
Thank you.
Beautifully done. It's with you the whole time. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you.
And we like to close out our time together also in prayer, but this is a prayer we sing, and a prayer that is sung is a prayer prayed twice, something along those lines.
Mhm.
So mute your mics and sing along.
I'll mute my mic. Okay.
This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand.
Thank you, everybody. And let's say farewell to our live streamers on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us today. We will see you next time.